Welcome back to another Minecraft update video. We are now on pre-release 3 for 1.17, and I thought that these pre-releases wouldn't be worth talking about. This one though has some pretty fundamental changes to goats, axolotls and glow squids, things that players should probably know about, so it's kind of unusual for them to make such big changes, but they do make sense, and we'll get to those. First of all though, we're going to check out the candles and their new textures that we talked about in the last video. So like we've done in a previous video, I'm simply going to light these and then move from side to side, so you can just see them are nice and close up front. These are just tweaked once more. Not too different from what we saw the first time. But yeah, overall I think these just look fantastic. This is a really nice little feature to bring along to the candles. That one's got quite a dramatic change, I've noticed. And there you go, that's all of them. So you might have wondered, why are there all these cakes back here? Well, it had been noticed that when you put a candle on top of a cake and then light it, that texture update didn't happen. So it would have just looked like this candle over here. It's now been updated so that it will know that it's lit and it will change the texture. And before we get to the big changes, there were just two bug fixes worth mentioning. One of them was the lightning rod. You can see it's sort of like I'm not actually holding it. And the other bug fix is way more important. It relates to axolotls and breeding them. You can use tropical fish to breed two of these together. Unfortunately, the baby wouldn't be like a axolotl picked up in a bucket, meaning that it could then despawn when you leave the area. This has been changed now so that baby axolotls will not despawn. And it should also be noted that there is a bug in this snapshot where every world will be treated like an experimental one. So when you go in, you're going to see this screen, and that'll probably get patched in the next pre-release. So now let's get to these rather big changes that you should know about. First of all, with goats, they can use the ram attack. The screaming goat is way more likely to use that. And if they do that on a creeper, the creeper doesn't actually retaliate, because then that could cause the world to be griefed and destroyed. The problem is though, people have noticed that over time the goats tend to disappear in the world, and that's because they can be aggressive to mobs that will then go ahead and attack them back. So if this goat were to go after the husk would go after the goat, and then the goats that generate in your world at night time when mobs start to spawn like skeletons and zombies, they're likely to end up getting killed. So now when the goat uses its ram attack, it's not going to aggravate any type of mob. So if, like me, you are thinking of using the screaming goats in some sort of farm, well, now that actually expands the possibilities. You could use them in a hostile mob farm to kill off the mobs, which is pretty cool, I think. Now, the next change is for the spawning conditions of the axolotl and the glow squid, and I very much understand what's going on here. I've been reading some of the tweets from the devs, but some of the language used makes it kind of tricky to figure out 100% what they mean. First of all, let's identify the problem. In this game, you can make an aquarium, you can put tropical fish and the likes inside of it, and then along come and spawn some glow squids or perhaps axolotls, and the axolotls will then go and attack the mobs inside of your aquarium that if you put time and effort into getting there. So the change as it's worded is that they are now going to need complete darkness, meaning the light level needs to be 0, and the idea there being that aquariums are probably going to be lit up to show the mobs that you've collected and put inside of them. Here on the website it says axolotls and glow squids now only spawn in total darkness, and where there's a natural stone block less than 5 blocks below the spawning space. Now if we imagine the lapis is water, that to me sounds like it needs that darkness, and then if the mobs were to spawn here or below, they'd be able to because there's stone down the bottom, and then any higher or any further away from that stone, they wouldn't spawn regardless of the light level. I could be interpreting that right, but there's one other caveat, and that's that they say natural stone. Now does that mean just smooth stone, or does it mean that it needs to be naturally generated in the world? Are you allowed to build your own spawning chamber with stone blocks at the bottom? I'm not entirely sure. And my guess is that the devs are probably going to pick up on this and communicate it with us, and it's unlikely that I'm going to make another pre-release video on this channel. As they get smaller and smaller, I cover them on my second channel. And also, if they communicate with us over Twitter, which they often do, I might just give it a retweet since it's relevant to this video, so feel free to follow me on Twitter as well. You can find links to both of those in the description box down below. That's it from me. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.